Hello, I'm Paul Perrello, and welcome to the Philly Factor. Well, have you ever thought about climbing mountains, walking within a very short distance of bears, stay in a tent overnight as lightning crashes in the sky above you? Sound exciting? Well, my next guest has done just that, and even more so. I met Albert Dragon, as they say, on the radio a number of months ago. I interviewed him about his book. He's joined us here on the program to talk about his book and talk about his experience backpacking the Appalachian Trail from Georgia to Vermont, taking more than 3,600,000 steps. He tells me he counted each and every one of them. I'm going to see. He's a semi-retired Philadelphia lawyer. Albert Dragon has written 4 manuals, newspaper articles, the author of Avalanche and Gorilla Jim, Appalachian Trail, Adventures, and Other Tales. And Al, I want to thank you for being with us on the program.
Thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
I said we met on the radio a number of months ago. I interviewed you for a radio segment, and I was so intrigued by your story. I mean, just to give a little bit of background to our viewers, you grew up not too far from where we're sitting right now. You're a Feltonville guy, a Philly boy. There was a wooded area there, Tacony Park.
Yes, okay. That's right.
So was that your first entree into the woods, if you will?
Yes. For a city boy, it was very exciting. We spent the summers in the park, in the woods, and that's how I got to like the outdoors. I was intrigued with the idea of backpacking as a kid, but I didn't know anybody who backpacked. And I think in my family, if you mention a backpack, they would think of it as something you put on a sore back. So years went by, and I went to school, started to practice law. And when I got into my 60s, my mid-60s, my wife gave me a book about 2 guys who had hiked the Appalachian Trail, at least part of it. And I said, if they could do it, I could do it. Mm-hmm. I started to gather equipment. I would go to outfitters, ask questions. Then I took a plane to Georgia, where the southern part of the Appalachian Trail starts, climbed up Springer Mountain, and headed north.
Now, we want to mention that when I mentioned those 3 million steps that you took, that wasn't all in one trip, and you weren't counting each step along the way, were you?
Right on both counts. I hiked the 1,600 miles of the Appalachian Trail over a period of years. Mm-hmm. And no, I did not count them. How I got that number,
right, yeah.
It takes 5 million footsteps to hike the entire trail from Georgia to Maine.
Okay.
I took the part that I hiked and just calculated how many steps that would be based on the percentage of the trail that I've hiked so far.
So you tell your family now, and your lovely wife is here in the studio with us, so yes. She gives you this book. You now decide that you're going to embark on this first leg of your journey. What do they say to you, Al?
My friends said they thought I was nuts. But if you have a dream, particularly if you have a lifelong dream, this is something I wanted to do. And people would say to me, are you taking a gun with you? What about the bears? You don't need a gun out there. Mm-hmm. And the bears, I think, are more afraid of us than we are of them. Mm-hmm. In this journey, I saw bears on 2 occasions. And on both occasions, they were not a problem. I will tell you, there was one funny incident. I hiked a small portion of the Appalachian Trail with my niece. Mm-hmm. And she was in the lead one day. We were hiking through New Jersey. And incidentally, New Jersey has a tremendous number of bears compared to the other states.
That? Yeah.
And she started to run back towards me. I said, what's going on, Laura? And she said, there's a bear up there. And I started to run towards the bear. She said, what are you doing? And I said, I've never seen a bear before. But the bear crossed the trail, and it was a good-sized one, and then disappeared. But yeah, there are bears out there, but they're not to be too afraid of. The worst thing that they tell me about bears is if they have a cub with them, that's a dangerous situation.
Yeah. So when is your first trip? What year then do you embark on the first leg of your journey?
2005.
Okay, and then I assume then you're still embarking on, or you're still hiking, you're still backpacking, if you will. But when and correct me if I'm wrong, when was the last leg of your journey when you got to Vermont?
Actually, several weeks ago,
Really?
I was in Vermont hiking with two of my buddies. We spent about 9 days there. And we get together. Gorilla Jim of the
book?
of the title of
Right.
the book now lives in Oklahoma.
Okay.
And he flies in. And we pick up where I left off the last time, and we do some hiking and mark the place where we ended, and next time we come back, we start off there. This year we had the unique privilege, in a way, of hiking with a guy who has hiked the entire Appalachian Trail 8 times.
8 times.
8 times. And the reason why is he's a minister, and it has to do with his ministry. Part of it has to do with the Appalachian Trail. But it was just great hiking with an experienced guy like him, and his trail name is Circuit Rider.
Circuit Rider.
Yeah,
I want to talk about some of the characters that you've met along the way, but I want to get to the title of the book, Avalanche and Gorilla Jim. So who is Avalanche and who is Gorilla Jim?
I am Avalanche, and how I got my name, and incidentally, trail names are pretty typical out there. These are nicknames. It's just like if you belong to a certain neighborhood, people give you a nickname in your neighborhood. We were hiking in Georgia, and in Georgia, particularly in the spring times, a lot of rain. It was very muddy and slippery. We were coming down a mountain, and quite frankly, I was sliding on my rear end.
Okay.
And I had caused a lot of stones and mud and water to fly out ahead of me. And Jim said to me, "You're causing an avalanche." So he said, "Avalanche, that's a great name. We're going to call you Avalanche." I'll tell you the truth, Paul, I didn't care for the name. It didn't appeal to me. But we would meet other hikers, and he said, "I want you to meet my buddy, Avalanche." And people started to say, "Hey, Avalanche, what are you cooking for dinner? Avalanche, how far is it to so-and-so?" And I started to like it. It was like being admitted to a culture of hardy outdoor people. We were out for several weeks, and most of the people who hike are much younger than me. I'd say early 20s. A lot of them are sort of, they're out there and they lose some weight, they're skinny, they haven't shaved, they got a scraggly beard, they haven't done anything with their hair, it's flying all over the place. And one of these loose guys comes up to me and says, "Hey, what's up, landslide?" And I looked him in the face and I said, "It's Avalanche, dude."
Get the name right. Exactly. Albert Dragon is our guest. He is the author of Avalanche and Gorilla Jim. He documents, and I have to say with such clarity, every step of your journey. So did you have a journal with you? I mean, when you started out on this journey, when you said 2001, when you took
2005.
2005. So, I mean, was that your intent to write a book? Did you bring a journal with you? How do you remember some of the things that you did and some of the people that you met? I mean, did you write a journal?
It is typical for all hikers to keep a journal. That was not unusual at all. The difference with me was I don't like to write. I'm accustomed to dictating into a little dictating device. So I would dictate my journal.
Okay.
Every night I would walk several 100 feet or 1,000 feet or so and get away from people because I don't want to bother anybody doing it. And I would dictate what had happened during the day. I'd send it back, and my secretary would type it up. And after a while, I started to just transcribe it myself. But I would keep a record of what went on. This is not unusual. This is fairly typical. After doing this for several years, and telling people what had happened to me, they said, "Why don't you write a book about it?" So I said, "Well, I don't know." And it sort of cogitated. I said, "Hey, it's not a bad idea. I think I'll write a book. There's so many funny things and so many exciting things and so many adventures we've had. We got rescued in a snowstorm and nutty things would happen." So that's what led to writing Avalanche and Gorilla Jim.
So when you said you sent the information back to your secretary, there aren't any mailboxes along the Appalachian Trail for you to put the device, your disc or whatever, your tape, your cassette, whatever you're using in the mailbox and send it back. Are you using a computer and uploading it? How are you getting that information from this pretty remote area of the East Coast back to civilization?
We would have to go into town periodically
I see.
to resupply. And I would just take it to micro cassette and just mail it to
I
her.
see, okay.
Or I'd wait until I finished and came back, and she was kind enough to type it up for me. But as I say, after a while, I just started to transcribe it myself.
So how do you know then that you're on the Appalachian Trail? I mean, are there signs? Is there that proverbial fork in the road that you go right, you're going the right way, and if you happen to take the left at the fork in the trail, you're going the wrong way? I mean, how do you know that you're on the right path? And how many other people are out there hiking with you at the same time?
Okay, as far as how do you know if you're on the right path, there is what they call a blaze. A blaze is a white paint mark. It's about 2 inches wide by about 6 inches long. And they put these paint marks on trees, on rocks, sometimes on a bridge, depends where you are. And you look for these paint marks. There are also guidebooks that you can carry with you that give you some information. So if you don't see a blaze, if you don't see one of these white paint marks,
You're lost.
you're lost. And the best thing you could do is back up
Right.
to find one and then get yourself back on there. If you get off the trail, you may really have a problem. And that is why I always carry with me this in my pocket.
Okay.
It consists of 3 things. First of all, a whistle. If you really get really lost, you have to use the whistle. And if there's nobody around to hear you, well, then the whistle is kind of useless. Sometimes you run into things at night, and a little light is always good to have.
Okay,
This,
yeah,
this is a penknife. You may say, gee, that's an awfully small penknife. But the suggestion for getting this particular penknife was made by a guy who not only hiked the entire Appalachian Trail, but hiked the other 2 over 2,000-mile long trails in the United States. And he suggested this penknife. I said, that's great, because you can carry it with you. So these are things I always have in my pocket. And hopefully you don't get lost. I also have a compass, which is attached to my backpack.
Okay.
But the important thing is to keep your wits about you and stay on the trail, except for when you camp, and you camp near the trail. You just keep in mind where the trail is. I have been lost, as other people have. Unfortunately, in Pennsylvania, in the northern part of Pennsylvania, there are no trees. There's mostly rocks.
Okay.
And the paint marks are on the rocks, and sometimes you don't see them. And I write about it in the book. I'm not going to go through the whole thing here, but I did get lost. It's a very harrowing experience.
I'll bet.
But if you keep your wits about you, you can find your way out.
So one might think, well, if you're going out and you're hiking and you're backpacking, you got to take all the essentials with you. You got to take food, but you can't take the whole kitchen, pantry with you, because you're carrying all this stuff on your back. You're going to have to take a cup for water. You're going to have to take, as you said, this keychain that has your whistle, your knife, and your light on it. What about a cell phone? To me, we've become so accustomed to using cell phones. So if you're out there backpacking, are you getting cell phone reception if you're using your cell phone?
It depends. In many places, there is no cell phone service. People don't realize how remote some of these areas are. They are nowhere near civilization. I know one night I was thinking to myself, if anything happens to us, it would take a day's walk just to get to a place where we could get out of the woods. There is cell phone service if you are close to a town and up high.
Okay.
If you're down low and you're not close to a town, you will not get cell phone service out there.
I want to talk about some of the characters, and one notable character that you stumbled upon in one of your journeys on the Appalachian Trail. This goes back to, I'm trying to see here, there's a connection between you and the Atlanta Olympic Games bomber. So what's the connection there?
As you may recall, a bomb was set off at the Olympic Games in Atlanta. It had in it shrapnel made of nails. 111 people were severely injured by this bomb. One woman was killed right in the presence of her teenage daughter. It was a horrible event. This person had also set off a bomb at a nightclub and some other places. The FBI wanted him desperately. There were federal agents, state police, local police, hundreds of law enforcement men chasing him, and they knew he went to hide out near the Appalachian Trail, which this man knew very well because he lived in North Carolina. As it turned out, one of the things they were concerned about was that he had 250 pounds of high explosives with him. They were concerned that he had hidden it by digging holes and putting it in there, and that some hiker who might also be digging a hole for other purposes might set this stuff off, because over time the explosives become unstable. So we were hiking in the exact area where he was hiding.
How about that?
The other connection is that Gorilla Jim lived in the same town that this man came from, and they lived blocks away from each other. And in my book, I go through a bunch of other similarities. Of course, the difference being that this guy, Eric Rudolph, had severely injured and killed a number of people. And Gorilla Jim, although he's kind of a gruff guy, is the kind of guy who would take the shirt off his back and give it to almost anybody.
So I want to talk, I mean, I can't put the book down, but I want to read the first paragraph of the book. It goes, and I was going to start the interview out because it almost sounds like one of those nightmares that you have, or a horror movie. Loud, ungodly screams shatter the forest night, reverberating in the darkened woods. It sent chills to every part of my body. I was separated from whatever beasts lurked out there by only the thin material of my small tent, and that thought doomed any hope of sleep. So do you get much sleep then when you're out there? I mean, is this worry, this fear of the unknown, how does that weigh on you when you're out there hiking?
That incident took place before I got on the Appalachian Trail. At that time, I was completely inexperienced. I had never backpacked, and I figured if I was going to do the Appalachian Trail, I had to get some experience. So I took my tent and my equipment, and I went to the Pine Barrens in New Jersey.
Right,
New
okay.
Jersey.
You didn't see the Jersey Devil over there in the Pine Barrens, though,
Well,
right?
That's what I thought this was.
Really?
It was so. This sound was so scary, so frightening. It was like your worst nightmare.
Right.
And if you're alone, you're by yourself in dark woods, completely inexperienced, you have no idea what it is. The sound was a hoo-hoo-hoo sound. It reverberated through the woods. And you can't sleep when that's going on. That's
Exactly.
for darn sure. I found out later on when I completed my then hike in the Pine Barrens at a ranger station, and I spoke to the ranger there, and I told him about it, and he says, yeah, that's ghastly, isn't it? I said, yeah, it's ghastly, it's horrible. He says, you know what that is? I said, no, what was it? He says, it's a huge owl.
Really?
It's called a barred owl, and he says, it's like the worst thing you could hear, and it is. It's horrible. And later on, I saw in Backpacker magazine, they were talking about what are some of the worst sounds you hear in the woods, and the barred owl is among the worst.
So I'm going to get into what the whole experience has meant for you over the course of years now that you've been doing this. But let's first approach it as what was perhaps the worst part of, what was the worst experience that you had during this journey that you continue to take?
The worst started off on a nice day. We were hiking in about 70-degree temperatures. We had gone through a pasture. We were starting to climb a mountain. And what started off as a sunny day started to turn cloudy. And as we climbed higher, it got rainy. And by the time we went to sleep, it's starting to get cold. And incidentally, in the mountains, things change drastically.
Really?
Temperatures can drop 20 degrees in an hour.
Wow.
So we went to sleep, and I was awakened during the night by some sound outside of my tent. I thought maybe it was an animal, but when I turned on my little light, I saw that the sides of the tent were sort of getting concave, coming in towards me. And I realized it was snowing outside, and the snow is piling up next to the tent.
Wow.
And pushing in the sides. By the time I got up in the morning, there was already 7 inches of snow, and I was concerned about whether or not we should hunker down there or get moving. I had a little radio, but couldn't get much on it other than, it was a Sunday morning, they said they were canceling church services, which I assumed meant that this was going to be pretty bad.
Right, right.
And then I got no more reception. I called 911, which someone had told me no matter what, that you usually get reception if you call them. And they connected me to Carter County Rescue Service. This was in Tennessee, mountains in Tennessee. We kept getting cut off because of the storm going on outside. But the one thing she said was, no, don't move. We're coming to get you.
Wow.
I didn't feel upset until she said this, and then the connection was cut off, and I had nothing else that we could say to each other. So I thought there must be something extremely dangerous that I don't realize, and that's what upset me. This was about 7 o'clock in the morning, and they did not get to us until 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Wow.
By then, there was about 14 inches of snow.
Whoa.
With drifts knee to thigh depth, and we packed up our stuff, and they led us to a place where the Forest Service had 4-wheel drive vehicles, and they took us to their rescue center. And it's scary when you realize that you may be lost out there without any connection to anyone. One of the guys at the rescue center did say to us, if we had started to move on our own, we could have gotten completely disoriented because the trail's covered with snow. You don't know where it is.
Right.
And he said, we might not have found it till later in the season when the snow melted.
Oh boy. Yeah. Not really what you want to hear, right?
Not really what I wanted to hear.
In the few minutes we have left, on page 290 of your book, the Appalachian Trail changed my life for the better. I had more adventures trekking those woods and mountains than I had enjoyed in the rest of my life. That's a pretty profound statement, that this experience, you found so much enjoyment and continue to find enjoyment out of doing this than some of the other experiences that you've had in life. Why is that?
First of all, it's, I think people like to overcome some kind of adversity. That's what sports are about.
Sure.
When you are backpacking and you're carrying 30 plus pounds on your back, climbing mountains, and you get to the top of a mountain, you have the exhilaration of accomplishment which is incomparable. You meet the greatest people in the world.
Sure.
There are people who have done things for us when we needed some help out there, and we've done things for other people out there. The experience is just overwhelming, and the feeling of accomplishment, I said, is incomparable. And I highly recommend it to anybody.
So you just finished the Vermont part of your trek. You were in Vermont on backpacking just a few weeks ago. So I'm guessing now, as the winter starts to set in, you're looking forward to your next journey. Where might that be, Al?
We have a little bit further to go in Vermont. Then it's New Hampshire, and then Maine, and we're finished.
And then you're finished. As I mentioned before during the interview, your lovely wife is sitting here in the studio with us. Has she ever accompanied you on one of your trips?
Barbara is a good hiker. Barbara does not like to sleep on the ground. Barbara does not like to do without a shower for 8 days. So while she enjoys hiking, she does not care to join us in a backpacking trip.
All right. I want to mention your website, which is albertdragon.com.
Yes.
Okay, so you can find out more about Albert Dragon and his trip and the people that he's met hiking the Appalachian Trail. You could also get a copy of the book by going to the website and buying it. Can they buy it right from the website?
They can get it from Amazon
Okay, all
or
right.
some of the other booksellers on the internet. If you go to my website and just click on the cover of the book, it'll take you right to Amazon.
So how was this experience then writing the book? I mean, you kept these journals, you dictated into the little, tape recorder. Is this sort of something that has the book been the culmination of what you thought it was going to be when you started out when that friend said to you, hey, you got the makings of a book? Has it turned out to be everything you thought it was going to be?
Yes. I like to hear a good story. I like to tell a good story. This, of course, is a true story. This
Right.
actually did happen. And I like people to hear about the funny things that happened, the hilarity, the getting locked in an outhouse and not being able to get out because the doorknob falls apart, the goofy things I said when I ran into a rattlesnake. But also some of the other things, some of the scary things like murders that have happened out there.
Oh boy, that's another topic for
Yeah.
another show for sure.
But it's a good read, and I think people will enjoy reading it.
Albert Dragon, thanks so much for being with us. I'm glad we had the opportunity to do this.
Thank you for having me. I've been delighted to be here.
Albert Dragon, our guest here on this edition of the Philly Factor. Again, you can go to albertdragon.com, find out much more information about all his treks on the Appalachian Trail. And of course, if you'd like to get a copy of the book, it is available online. And all you have to do is just click on the cover of the book. It'll take you to Amazon's website. And I want to thank Albert Dragon for being with us on the program. Until the next time, I'm Paul Perrello. Thanks so much for being with us.